Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Warrick, but you can call me Walk. I'm the founder of FTS. I'm an athlete and I'm an adventurer. Now, today I'm going to be talking to you about three major topics. The first topic is, if I get this to work, FTS. The second topic is my journey. And the third topic is adventure. Now, to understand these topics properly, there's actually a fourth topic, and that topic is motivation, because I believe in inspiring, especially the younger generation, of their true potential and helping every person find what is true to them and true to their soul. Now, I asked a couple of friends to describe me in 5 words. And these are the 5 words that they came up with. Passionate. Passionate, ambitious, driven, and adventurous. Now, there was one word, or one sentence that each person said over and over again. And that sentence was, Warrick, you are you. You are 100% who you are and who you are meant to be. Now, I don't know about you guys, but to me, that is possibly the biggest compliment anyone could ever give me. Who's happy with who they are? You guys? Anyone here happy with who they are, where they're going in life? Exactly. So if you are happy with who you are as a person and where you are going, your soul is true. You are true to your soul. And that, my friends, is beautiful. Now, does anyone know who this man is? Sorry? Warren Buffett, yes, indeed, the great Warren Buffett. Now, Warren Buffett, just wait for that to finish. Warren Buffett, I'm going to carry on anyway. Warren Buffett says, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Agreed? The best investment you can make, yes, you sir at the back there, the best investment you can make is in yourself. Now, we're constantly trying to improve ourselves and impress everyone else around us. We're constantly worrying about everyone else's business and how it affects our life. Guys, what I'm trying to say to you today is stop trying to impress. Impress yourself. So many of us, day to day, go to work every day to make someone else rich. Go to work every single day to make someone else happy. Focus on yourself. Go back to what is important to you. Invest your time in yourself. Not in your boss's time, in his passion, in his love, but in your passion and your life. Now, be careful what you wish for, because when you invest your soul into something, you generally get it. And I think if anyone understands that wholeheartedly, and I know this from a note, is because he is passionate in who he is. He lives his passion. If you are passionate about something, the chances of you getting that something is massive. So I'm going to tell you a little story today about a trip I did back in, I think it was 2011. It was a 240-kilometer hike. Well, it was meant to be 240-kilometer hike. I was going with 2 of South Africa's top athletes. Andy Burkett has actually won multiple doozies. He's a multiple world champion in kayaking. And the whole plan for the Drakensberg Grand Traverse was to take this challenge and do it over 7 days. Okay? It was completely self-supported, which means we had all our food, all our luggage, our tents, everything. My pack before I started the hike, was 27 kgs. And everything was above 3,100 meters in elevation. Anyone ever been above 3,100 meters in elevation? It's not that high, but the altitude still gets you. It's not Everest, I agree. It's not above 4, it's not above 5, but the altitude still grabs you. Anyway, to tell you about this mistake I make and being careful about what you go for and what you pursue, is on day 3, because of the weight of my pack, I started losing the feeling in my left leg. And I pinched a nerve in my hip. And I carried on through that day. The next day, hey, big man, come sit. Come on. So on that day, on that third day, I pinched a nerve in my hip. Went to bed that night after a 13-hour day hiking. Woke up the next morning, pack on the back again, and started walking. By the time lunchtime came around, I couldn't even walk properly. I was tripping, and if you know the Drakensberg Mountains in South Africa, it's pretty gnarly out there. I was walking, I was tripping, I was stumbling everywhere, and it really got dangerous for me to carry on. And basically what we did is we put up our tent. It was raining. It was -5. It was freezing cold. The wind was pumping. The rain was coming in at an angle. And we basically put up our tent. We had lunch, and we made the decision. Well, I encouraged the other guys to carry on without me. Now, there are 3 of us. I know, look at me. He wants to throw something at me. The reality is you never go alone in the mountains. And I made that mistake. Why? Because I let my ego get in the way. I didn't want the other guys to not achieve their goal because of my mistake or my injury. So what actually happened next was they left on. I was in my tent, in my comfy sleeping blanket while they carried on hiking. And next minute, a massive thunderstorm rolled in. And I was lying there on my own in a tent with carbon poles. Literally, yeah, I was nervous. I was scared, to say the least. 3 o'clock came. I packed up my tent. 3 o'clock came, I packed up my tent, and I decided I was heading down the mountain on my own. By the time I had packed up my tent, it was 5 o'clock in the evening and starting to get dark. Anyway, made my way down. 2 hours stumbling down the mountain. And 2 hours in, I got to a massive rock, about 8 meters long and about 5 meters wide. Guys, I was exhausted. I'd put my foot on the rock. I tested the terrain. I felt it was slippery. I lay down on my tummy to try to get across the rock. I didn't have the energy to go around the rock. It was a steep hill. Lay down on my tummy, and I started pulling myself across the rock. Next minute, slipped out, and I started tumbling down the mountain. The end of the rock was maybe a meter high drop, and then it went into probably a 45 meters steep hill for about 8 to 10 meters, and then it was a 30-meter cliff. I don't know how, but somehow within that tumble, my hiking pole fell out of my pack, and I grabbed it in my hand, and I stuck it in the ground, and I stopped. Maybe 3 meters from the cliff. I lay there. Now it's 7, 8 o'clock at night. It's pitch black. I lay there crying like a little baby. I was exhausted. I'd literally nearly just fallen off a cliff. Anyway, long story short of all of this story is, guys, care for what you wish for. Prepare for it. I was naive. I was so focused in achieving my goal that I actually forgot to do one major thing. Get out and hike. So be careful what you wish for. Focus, prepare. Make sure you're ready for it before you take on any major challenge in your life. Okay. Now, we talk about mistakes. I've made many mistakes in my life. This was in a race, a non-stop doozy, 120-kilometer kayak. It had gone horribly wrong. I did finish this race. This was about 70 kilometers in, paddling by myself over a full day. Great fun. But I've also got a lot right in my life. This is Dubai Ironman 70.3. I've set some pretty big goals. Now remember this picture. This picture you'll see later, and I'll explain this to you in a little bit. Now, with those goals, I've had some failures, but I've had some great successes too. And this is what we're going to talk about through the rest of my talk. One of my biggest successes is me understanding who I am and loving who I am. Now, so basically, loving who I am and understanding who I am has got me to where I am today. And that is the form of FTS. FTS is my business, it's my baby, and honestly, wholeheartedly who I am. Now, for the first time in my life, FTS, the soul, is not a spelling mistake. I mean, S-O-U-L is what it should be, yeah? But I've gone with S-O-L-E, and I'll tell you why now. I believe that every step each and every one of you have taken in your life today, up to today, has led you to who you are meant to be. 100% where you are meant to be right now. Everything I've done, every success, every failure that you have done and had in your life has got you to sitting here right now listening to me talk. Whether you like it or not, whether you're forced to be here or not, you are here listening to me right now. And that, my friends, is your journey. And that makes you unique. Not the person next to you. You're not living their life. You're living your life. So embrace it. Live your life. Now, okay, so this is the philosophy that FTS is based on for me. I believe, obviously, that every step I've taken has got me to where I'm meant to be. And this, ladies and gentlemen, is where FTS was. This, ladies and gentlemen, is where FTS was born and what it stemmed from. Okay, so I believe in sharpening your tools. Okay, through my life, and I don't just mean tools of the trade by going to varsity and stuff like that. So I believe in sharpening your tools. Does anyone know where this is? This is in Oman, on the bottom section of Oman, just past Deba. It's called deep water soloing. We basically go by boat up to the cliff. You jump off the boat onto the mountain and you climb without a rope. It's actually really good fun. You're laughing at me, but you'd love it, I promise you. So what I'm talking about here and sharpening your tools of your trade is through your life, your journey, every step, every right step, wrong step you've made is a tool that you've got to gain. So every choice you've made, whether you've studied, haven't studied, whether you've run as an athlete, haven't run as an athlete, whatever you've done is sharpening your tools, whether it's PC work on a computer, it's your tools that you gain. Okay? And all of these tools, at the end of the day, is the FTX experience and why I've created FTS. Now, I've chosen 2 of my tours to show you today out of quite a wide range, and you can check them on our website. But I've chosen 2 tours that are close to me and close to the true emphasis of what FTS really stands for and really means. I am passionate, I'm sure you can see. I've got a lot of energy. But people, I can tell you, I've got so much love for humans and for nature. I love inspiring people. I love encouraging people to get their whole potential out of themselves. Okay? This, ladies and gentlemen, is what FTS is about. Oh, let's try that again.
Let your mind wander for a moment
South Africa.
to a place that redefines natural beauty. A place that has remained untamable for generations. A place that is truly wild. This is home to tranquility and adventure. It is where you find sanctuary. It is where you find yourself. Here along the stretch of South Africa's eastern coastline, there are treasures to be found. They cannot be held, but they are seen and felt in every inch of this unspoiled land. Ikhaya lamaXhosa. This place is home to Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela. And like him, it has lessons to teach us all. Here we are all witnesses to the artistry of nature, and its wonders are waiting for you. This is not just a place that is ripe for tourism. This is true escape, true adventure. This is the Wild Coast. Wamkelekile.
Okay, how beautiful is that? Who would actually like to go on holiday there one day? Yeah, me too, don't worry. So basically, guys, why I chose that specific video to show you first is purely because of what it offers. I believe, especially in the UAE, that we are wholeheartedly dived into the concrete world, the concrete jungle. We forget about what is real in this world. And this, to me, when you go on one of these trips, you actually get taken away from the reality of life. When we are on these trips, we not only explore the beauty of the wild coast, but we explore the culture. When you go on these trips, you don't just stay in a 5-star lodge. You do that at the beginning and at the end. But on these trips, you stay with the local community. You stay in their kayas. We call them kayas. They're beautiful. They're little round huts. That's where you stay along the trip. You're brought back to your true self. You're brought back to nature, to the bare necessities of life. You eat and sleep and breathe the way the local people eat, sleep, and breathe. But also, we adventure, obviously, whether it's horse riding, whether it's mountain biking, whether it's hiking, whether it's kayaking, all of it, we do it for you. Now, the next trip is one that's extremely close to my heart because I like giving people once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, something that you'll never get again. Watch this. Okay, so how cool is that? So that, ladies and gentlemen, is by Addo Wild Ride. It's a 5-star, 5-day, all-inclusive trip through the Addo Elephant National Park, which is the second biggest nature reserve in South Africa. It's a full conservation area. It's over 150,000 hectares of natural wild beauty. And we have the exclusivity of riding through that reserve for 5 days with the elephants. Has anyone ever experienced anything like that? I'll tell you what, when you're riding your bicycle down the dirt road, and you get to a little right-hand turn, and there's a massive elephant, bull elephant standing there. I promise you, the adrenaline that pumps through your system, you very quickly learn what's real in life, and you forget about the fakeness of life. You learn what's reality and how real life really is. So, ladies and gentlemen, that is the Addo Wild Ride, and obviously, 5 days and 5-star. Now, we're going to move on to my journey and actually the reason why FTS has started. And I definitely haven't had a bad journey in life. I've had a very privileged journey in life. But to me, I think the importance of my journey and why I've chosen adventure as a way of life has started from when I was a little boy, sharpening my tools of my trade. Started at a place called Baisley. I was very fortunate to have two grandparents that started a caravan park, and every holiday would go to this caravan park. At the age of 10 and 11, I would wake up in the morning, grab my surfboard, run down to the beach, go for a surf for 2 to 3 hours, come back, have lunch, go play with my friends for the day, out in nature. The importance is in nature. I am blown away by how reliant every single kid in the UAE is on these things. Actually, not just the kids, us too. How quick are we to forget about what's behind us? Do you know how much we're missing in life by doing this? Look up, guys, stop, take a look around, appreciate what's out there. Now, After that, we'd then go and do entertainment, so play a sport, then we'll go for dinner, and we'll go back to sport. Now, why is this important? For me, from my side of life, this has developed my skills of becoming an adventurer, of an athlete. It's developed me, it's made me appreciate life, appreciate the small things in life, the nature, who here has never seen a sunrise? Has anyone never seen a sunrise before? It's crazy. I was chatting to a girl the other day who said she's never seen the sun rise. How sad is that? Okay, most of us are probably in the events game or something here, or I suppose there's an outdoor expo, so wrong place to ask that question. But generally, that's sad, that's scary. But anyway, we then move on to my life as sport. It started in primary school. I played every sport you can think of. Going into high school, I then focused more on the outdoor adventure side of sport and life. I was very fortunate to represent my country in 2 sports, both involving kayaking at school. This is river paddling. This is actually my dad running down a mountain with me. It's like, so you paddle this is that non-stop doozy race where you're paddling 120 kilometers. It's 30 kilometers of running, and this is running down a mountain on the other side, and him trying to keep up with me with a big boat on my shoulder. I then, in high school, so basically the paddling journey ended pretty quickly for me. And I went from, age 17, guys, in my prime, representing my country, to what I like to call a slap. Now, I believe that we are all so quick and so acceptance in life just being so comfortable. We get so complacent. Every now and then, each and every one of us, we think we're too good. We need a slap to wake us up and say, hey, hold on, listen here, buddy. You're not that good. You think you're good. No, this is reality. Come back down to earth, find out who you are, get grounded, and build again. So that's what I did. And this time, I left the boat behind, and I went into multisport. Now, multisport is a mixture of all my favorite sports. It's trail running, kayaking, mountain biking, and even swimming from time to time. In this sport, oh man, it was absolutely amazing. I picked up my second sponsor of Team Jeep South Africa, and literally 2 weeks out from the South African Championships, the best of the best was going to be there. We're very fortunate in South Africa that we had the world champion and the second best in the world. And at the age of 19, I was ready to step up to the plate and take these 2 athletes on. 2 weeks before, I decided to go play on a BMX track. Slap number 2. Warrick, you're not that good, buddy. Get back in your seat. I shattered my knee. I decided to play on a BMX, and between the double of the jumps, my foot slipped off the pedal and hit me in the back of the knee. I've had 4 operations on my right knee. The doctors told me I would never run again. The doctors told me I would never run again. Guys, 19 years old. Imagine having your hopes, my whole world. I'd contract signed to go to the Olympics. And I got my life shattered away and pulled away from me, just like that. Anyway, next thing. I wasn't done. That wasn't going to get me down. I found triathlon. I came over, this was my first triathlon, back in my hometown in South Africa. Me and my best friend Dwayne, I made a deal with him before this race. I said, I'll never get serious in sport again. That didn't happen. Let's just say, Ironman 70.3 Dubai, my first time actually in Dubai, on holiday to come race. And yeah, very fortunate to win a trophy and come back with second place there. I then fell in love with Dubai and the UAE. I moved over to Dubai. I then, slap number 3 now. I moved to Dubai 3 months later. I went to get eggs out the fridge. I stepped wrong. I fell on the floor and I collapsed 2 discs in my back. It was so bad that the ambulances had to come to my house and fetch me from my house. I was in so much pain, I grabbed the ambulance, the medic, by his shirt. I won't tell you what I said to him because I'll get kicked out of here very quickly, but I wanted to hit the guy. I mean, I was in agony and he was moving me around trying to get me out of there. Long story short, slap number 3, and I was in hospital. Slap number 3, and I had an operation on my back. Guys, I'd lost everything in my left leg. I couldn't push a finger with my foot. That's how much I'd lost in my left leg. The next day, operation happened. A month later, actually, the doctor made the mistake of telling me I could never run or possibly walk again. I took that as a challenge. I got up. A month later, I jumped into the pool for the first time. 2 months later, I jumped on my bicycle. Hey, this is lekker. I can ride. A couple of weeks later, I did my first run again. The doctor told me I would never run or walk again. This is what happened next. This is my first race back. I love this story. Thank you. I love this story because, in all honesty, I'd come to Dubai to race as a professional. I'd never got to race. My first race back, and no one knew who I was. It was a run, swim, run. So we swam a lap, ran a lap. Swam a lap, ran a lap. And these guys thought I was just some novice. So we're running. I'm like, oh, hi guys, how are you? Chatting to them, playing mind games. It's lovely. Next minute, the final lap comes. They try to put the hammer down. No, cheers, buddy. No, you don't. And I left them all behind and I took the win. Anyway, a year since my back operation, I went to Ironman 70.3 Astana. Everything, the stars aligned for me. God was on my side this time. I literally went 1 year later from when I was told I'd never run or walk again. I won Ironman Astana. Overall age grouper. Not just the podium in my age group, but overall age grouper, I won the race. It was one of the most humbling. When I say, so it's just a funny story quickly. I know I'm pushing time here, but when I say I was over the moon, I'll never forget running, and all of a sudden a bicycle pulls up next to me. I'm like, hi. I look at his board and it says first place male. I was like, is that for me? He's like, yes. I was like, I just started crying. I'm trying to run at 3 minutes 50 okay. And I'm like crying. I'm like, have you ever ran and cried? It's terrible. Don't do it. I don't recommend it. But anyway, that was my bounce back number 3. Slap number 3, bounce back number 3. And all of this led me to Ironman 70.3 World Championships. We're not going to dive into this race. It was a terrible race. We'll move on from that. We don't worry about the negative and we move on from that. But through all of this, something in my life was missing. For me, I've always been chasing what everyone else wanted me to be and to do. I've always known that deep down, that adventure was true to my soul, was true to my spirit. But because everyone said, Warrick, you're a great kayaker, go kayak. And yes, I did well. Or Warrick, you're a great triathlete, go do triathlon. Yes, I did well. But I was never actually being true to myself. Sorry, this thing's driving me mad here. I was never being true to myself. Guys, I now bring to you the next stage of my life and something I'm really excited to share with you. I bring to you the Expedition UAE. Have a look at this and let me know what you think. Ladies and gentlemen, that is Expedition UAE. It's a new project I'm working on. I've been working on for the last 3 years. Expedition UAE, I will be the first person to ever circumnavigate the UAE completely man-powered. I will, over 1,653 kilometers, over 45 days, and 7 Emirates, non-stop. I will run 220 kilometers. I will cycle 798 kilometers, and I will kayak 634 kilometers to be the first person ever to circumnavigate the UAE. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Warrick Nicol, but you can call me Wok. I thank you for your time. Any questions? Guys, thank you so very much. Have a good day. Thank you.